What's up, guys? I am so glad you're here with us again for Post It Part 2. Last week we talked about how important our use of social media is. And we walked away with this phrase that says, what we post matters. What we post, it does matter, but I want to go even further than that. And I want us to walk away knowing this one truth this week, and that is this. You are so much more. You are so much more than what you post. Let me explain. I would say out of all of the social media forums that there are, I would say that Instagram is probably my favorite, by far. And the reason is because I can be at any place in time, and I can go and take a picture of whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, and I can apply some crazy cool filter to make me look like some amazing photographer, and I can throw it out there for everybody to see in the virtual world, right? But here's the problem with this. See, I have a 4-year-old son. And if you were to follow my newsfeed on Instagram, and you were to see all of the posts that I make of him and all the things that we do together, like you would look at my son and you would think that he is an amazing kid. I mean, you would think that he's photogenic, that he's well-behaved, that he is always doing his best, that he's obedient. I mean, you would think that he is a dream. And if you were to follow my newsfeed, you would probably think that I'm some amazing dad too, like I'm like the perfect dad. But here's the deal. The problem is with Instagram and some of our posts on Twitter and Facebook is that we are posting this small moment of time that is perfect in our life. And we're throwing it out there for everybody to see. But what you didn't see was the 2 minutes before the pic where my kid was acting like he was possessed, right? Or the 2 minutes after I took the picture where he's rolling around on the ground and I'm completely ignoring him because I'm too concerned and too consumed about posting this perfect picture of him on Instagram, right? Like the online presence that we have, what we post out there, these small perfectionist moments that we post out for everybody to see, is not just all we are. We are so much more than our post. See, you don't have kids, so you don't really relate to my 4-year-old story. But guys, for you, let me just give you a perfect example. And you guys, you know this. You don't take a picture of yourself on Instagram, right? With your shirt off, right? Before your workout, right? You take a picture of yourself after your workout where your muscles are all tense and everything, and you're chiseled and you're covered in sweat, and then that's when you take your little selfie with your shirtless off, like that. That's when you do that. Girls, you don't wait until your hair looks the worst and you've got the lamest outfit on to take a picture of yourself. No. You want to take your duckfish lips, whatever you want to call them, picture of yourself when you have the best looking hair, the best looking outfit on, and you want to portray this perfect persona of yourself, right? I mean, how about this? We don't ever think about when we tweet something or we post something, we don't have this thought in our brain that says, man, this is the most unclever thing that I've ever seen, most unoriginal thing. I'm going to post it right now for everybody to see. No, we wait until we find this amazing quote, right? And we post it out there for everybody to see. And we act as if we actually said it ourselves and we thought this up of ourselves. But in reality, we're just quoting somebody else, or we're quoting some silly song lyric. And we're like, man, that was so profound, right? That's so what we do. But here's the problem. I want us to really focus in on this. That when we're on social media, when we're on these sites like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and the Vine, all of these things, when we post things, it's a small moment of perfection in our lives. And so many times we can focus so much on what we post that we lose sight of what people don't see. We get so consumed and so worried about how people perceive us online that we forget and we neglect the things that people do not see. See, you are more than what you just post. You are so much more than your post. I don't know about you, but I've followed some friends of mine online, on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter, and sometimes I look at their posts and I look at all the things and I ask myself this, I ask the question, are these people really as perfect as they seem? I mean, it seems like they have no issues. And then I look at my own life and I'm like, man, am I just getting it wrong? But that's the truth, man. We portray this image of perfection online. And we get so focused on our online presence and our image online that we forget about our image in real life. You see, you are so much more than what you post. I mean, think about it this way. What if you were taken away the ability to post for yourself? And what if somebody else posted all of your posts for you? And they didn't filter it through whatever discretion that you wanted to give, but they just posted whatever they wanted, right? And whatever they saw in your life. And think about it. What if someone had the power to post your life? What if someone had the power to post your actions and your attitudes online? What if someone had the power to post about how you talk to your mom or to your stepbrother? What if somebody had the power to post the way you talked to people when they weren't around? What if someone had the power to post the way you treated people who weren't as cool as you? I mean, how would they stack up against what you would typically post? If somebody could post every real life moment of your life and put it out there on the social media forums for everybody to see, how would that make you feel? Because the reality is, you are so much more than what you post. You see, and this is not a new concept. This is not a new idea. This is actually something that Jesus addressed 2,000 years ago. You see, there were these people that were like the religious figures of their day. And they walked around and they did all of these perfect things out in public. They prayed the way they should have prayed. They acted the way they should have acted. And they put off this persona, just like we do on social media, as if their life was perfect. And Jesus, he really addressed this. He didn't necessarily say it to them, but he said it in a way that if these religious people were to see or to hear what was being said, then I'm sure their hearts would have been convicted. And he says this in Luke 6:45. He says this, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And if Jesus were preaching this sermon today, he might say this, out of the abundance of your heart, your thumbs post. Out of the abundance of your heart, your thumbs post. They posted on your phone, they posted on your Instagram, they posted on your social media sites. And what's on the inside of our hearts, it's so important. It's more important than what comes out in our post. Because Jesus knew this. He says, whatever's taking place on the inside, if you don't portray it out in real life, if you only portray perfection out where everybody can see, and in your life is just messed up and it's jacked up, he says eventually it will be like a volcano that just erupts, and eventually people will see your true colors. See, you are so much more than what you post. See, we need to get our focus off of what we post and let that not be so important. And we need to think about, who are we becoming? Not just what we're posting, but who are we becoming? Who are you becoming? Think about it. Don't think about your post, but think about your real life self. The one that nobody hardly ever gets to see. The one that you don't always post about, right? The things in your life and the places in your life that maybe are hidden and that nobody gets to see. Here's the idea. I want to give you some simple steps of what we can maybe do to try to figure out how do we make ourselves more focused on who we're becoming and not just what we're posting. Well, try this. Before posting something out there, try going back into your newsfeed. Try going back into some of your social media sites, in your Instagram and your Facebook and your Twitter. And I want you to look at some of these posts that you've made and look at them collectively and ask yourself, why did I post that? Like, what is the image I'm wanting people to see me? How am I wanting people to view me? How am I wanting to portray myself out on social media? Here's another one. Stop before you post something and think about whether it's helpful to yourself or hurtful to yourself. Or think about, is this helpful or hurtful to somebody else or even to your witness? I mean, instead of posting something about the fight you had with your mom, think about this. Ask yourself, how can I figure out how to better my relationship with my parents? See, instead of putting it out there and venting about it online, saying, man, my mom and my dad are so getting on my nerves this week, and they're just awful. And we get angry and we vent out on social media, but instead of doing something that is outward, do something that is inward and ask God, search my heart, Lord. Search my heart. And how can I make my relationship with my parents better? I mean, instead of mentioning your friends in your tweets, how about mentioning your friends in your prayers and praying for them? Instead of posting some Bible verse out there for everybody to read and everybody to see, I mean, this is a good thing, but maybe you should ask God and say, Lord, in this Bible verse, how can this be applied to my life? What are you wanting to speak to me today? Here's another idea. Last idea I want to give you, and this is kind of extreme, but it may be helpful for you. I want to challenge you to completely unplug. Unplug for a 24-hour period. And every time you get this urge to post something, every time you get this urge to whip out your phone or to pull out your iPod and to post something online or to open up your computer, instead of going to post something when you get those urges, I want you to take a moment and ask God and pray this simple prayer. God, search my heart. Search my heart and ask God, why am I wanting to post this? Search my heart, God. When you get those urges, just pray that simple prayer. And I guarantee if you pray that simple prayer, God will begin to speak to you and He'll begin to reveal things in your life. He'll begin to reveal attitudes and actions in your life. And He'll begin to challenge you to not just focus on what you're posting, but also to focus on what you're becoming. And so I want to challenge you. Think about that the next time you post it.